All right, what's going on, y'all? So today I'm going to talk to you about how I've gained literally over 30 pounds in the last 5 weeks. So 5 weeks ago from today, I got on stage at the Texas Pro and I weighed in that morning at 208 pounds. And this morning I weighed in at 243 pounds. So literally over 30 pounds in the last 5 weeks. So most of that has been clean gains. And I'm going to talk to you about what I've been doing with training, what I've been doing with diet, and what I've been doing with PEDs in the last 5 weeks to allow me to put on this much size. Now, if you guys have watched my last rebound video, you know I don't recommend rebounding out of a diet phase or a contest prep phase. For most people, this is definitely not the healthiest strategy. But if you have health markers in place and you have, the big goals that you've got to push up in size, in my opinion, you will have the best gains of your life in that rebound period after a hard cut or especially a contest prep. There's been several pros throughout the years that have talked. They've had, 80% of the gains they'll gain in an entire year will come out of, the 6 weeks post show. Now, for me, I've actually ended the rebound today. Today, I'm 5 weeks post show. I've ended the rebound. Now I'm completely going down to TRT. The diet's changing up a little bit, but I'm going to talk to you about what I've been doing the last 5 weeks to allow me to get to this size this quickly. Now, in another video, I'm going to talk to you about lessons I learned from this last contest prep. This last contest prep definitely did not go exactly how I would want it. There's a lot of lessons I learned, especially with training, how the split was laid out. We had a ton of junk volume. You guys watch my contest prep series videos, you know that I just had an astronomical amount of volume in there, and a ton of it was junk volume. And then also the diet. The diet could have been much better. But I'll talk to you guys about that in another video. So right now, let's go ahead and get into what I've been doing for the last 5 weeks. So on the training side, I went ahead and laid out this split about a week before the show to get me ready for the rebound. And I started this essentially right when I got back from the show. Now, I knew that my strength was going to skyrocket with me rebounding. So I needed to have enough time between, hitting each body part to allow ample recovery, because, your joints and ligaments and all of that are going to be beat up pretty bad with how much weight you're jumping up and progressing in the gym. But at the same time, I knew I needed an ample amount of volume that would allow me to maximize the amount of gains during the rebound phase. So this is how I laid out the split. Day one was chest and shoulders, and with that I had 4 chest movements and then 3 shoulder movements. Now with the chest, I did 3 pressing movements. 2 of those were incline, one was flat, and then I had a fly movement. I have a push A and then a push B. So essentially with a lot of these, I have an A variation one week and then a B variation the next week, just to allow me to hit different movements that hit slightly different angles. So with push A, I did pec deck. With push B, cable flies. That's kind of the example there. So I had 4 chest movements and then 3 shoulder movements. With the shoulder movements, I had 2 lateral movements and then 1 overhead pressing movement. Day two is a back day. And with that, I had 6 back movements. And just like with push, I had an A variation and a B variation. Day 3 was a rest day. By the time I got to day 3, I needed the rest days. Now, with my rest days, especially during the rebound, I treat these very, very, very seriously. These are not active rest days. These are rest days where I'm on the couch pretty much all day long, either doing work or eating. Essentially, I needed it. I was pretty much destroyed in the couch. And with that, it comes from the amount of progression in the gym and the amount of size I was putting on day to day. So day 1 push, day 2 back, day 3 rest, day 4 hamstrings and glutes. Most people out there don't need a hamstring and glute day by itself. You can put your hamstrings with your quad day, you can put your hamstrings with your back day, but this is an area that I need to bring up specifically for me competing in 212. So I laid out a full hamstring and glute day that starts with heavy deadlifts and then moves into a lot of hamstring work. Day 5 is an arms day. Now, arms, I've talked about this in several other videos. Arms, especially for male bodybuilders out there, a lot of people can't get big enough arms. So it's great to have a specific arm day, but then also it's almost like an active recovery day. Your CNS is not very fatigued on that. So this is kind of in between day 4, hamstring glutes, and then day 6 is quads. It allowed a little bit of time to somewhat recover. And then day 6 is quads. Quads day, demolishes me, puts me into the ground. And then day 7 is a much needed rest day. So that's how I had that laid out. With hamstrings and glutes, I had 5 movements. Arms day, I have 6 movements. I've got 3 for bis, 3 for tris, and then quads is 5 movements. So that's how I have the training split laid out. With the diet, this is the big part right here. You've got to eat enough for the rebound phase. Now, most people, when they come out of a diet phase or a contest prep phase, some people will slowly reverse out to where, let's say you end your diet at, 2,000 calories. You might the next week just go up to 2,200 calories. I personally don't even think that's the healthiest way. I think the healthiest way is to quickly get yourself back up to maintenance, get your hormones back in place, all of that. And this is assuming you're dropping out all PEDs, all of that. But get yourself back to a healthy baseline. And then after you have somewhat of a health phase, then you can go ahead and start your off-season bulk. But with the rebound, you essentially want to just go ahead and blast food. Now, if you guys have seen my last rebound video, I love blasting carbs, which I did here, but I actually added quite a bit more protein and fat here as well. And that allowed me to get more food down. Digestion and appetite is something that I have to pay attention to a lot. I don't have the greatest appetite for this. I'm not someone that can just go ahead and plow 10,000 calories easy. But when I came out of show day, we essentially just started right off the bat at 5,500 calories a day. And the macro split with that was 724 carbs, 375 grams of protein, and 123 grams of fat. So it was quite a bit of food right off the bat. And I allowed a couple free meals during the week as well to allow me to get more food in place. But every day, essentially, I was stuffed to the brim. But as the rebound went on, every week, my appetite picked up more and more and more. And that's as I was gaining the size, the metabolism was picking up, all of that. So that's how the diet went. Last week, so week 4 rolling into week 5, we did bump up to about 6,000 calories. But that's where we topped out at. Now that I've come down to TRT and I'm doing a health phase, the food will be brought down just slightly. But then, we'll be pushing up from here as off-season rolls on. Now, if I haven't mentioned already, the healthiest way coming out of a show is definitely to go ahead and clear out PEDs. You don't want to go ahead and go from a contest prep phase where you've been running all your contest prep drugs and then go ahead and blast another cycle. What you essentially want to do is go down to your baseline. So, if you're on TRT, go down to TRT. Or, you might want a PCT and completely come off. Now, if you're doing the rebound and you haven't run a super heavy contest prep cycle, this is where you can go ahead and think about potentially rebounding. So with that, for the last 5 weeks, I've done 600 milligrams of Testi per week, 700 milligrams of Primo, and then this is the most growth hormone I've ever run. I did 6 IUs of GH per day. And that made a massive difference. Now, before I get into the supplements that you really need in place to allow you to maximize the PEDs, I want to go ahead and mention that I am now taking on more clients, more one-on-one clients. So with that, you'll go ahead and get, full custom diet training, PED plans from me. I go ahead, you have full access to me through text and email, and you'll do weekly check-ins with myself, and I do that for bodybuilding and lifestyle clients as well as hybrid clients as well. So if you're interested in that, definitely check out the link below. I am taking on more clients right now. So with all of that said, this is a fairly heavy cycle for me, but with contest prep, I didn't run a massive cycle, and knowing where my blood work was, my health markers, I did a risk assessment, and I decided to go ahead and run this cycle, which was 600 tests, 700 Primo. I obviously dropped out all the harsh prep drugs, no orals, and so with that, to maximize this and to maximize the insulin sensitivity And that's the key with the Rebound. The way the Rebound works, and I talk about this in detail in my other Rebound video, the way the Rebound works and why it works so well is you're maximizing your insulin sensitivity. When you get down to such a lean state, you're so insulin sensitive that your body is just soaking up the nutrients. What you don't want to do is go ahead and blast all this food and lose your insulin sensitivity really quickly, because then you'll just go ahead and start getting fat, and it kind of ruins your entire off season. So what you want to do is have the right things in place, and if you go ahead and run your cycle with growth hormone, that can go ahead and destroy your insulin sensitivity really quickly. So to maximize that, I have certain supplements in place. So the first one is having a good glucose dispersal agent, a GDA. I use Axe and Sledges. There's many different GDAs out there. You can even do berberine if you want. But I did a GDA with my post-workout meal, which is meal 4, and then meal 6. As well, I also did metformin 500 milligrams with meal 6 before bed every day. Now, with that, my blood glucose has stayed phenomenal. It's been in the high 70s pretty much for the last 5 weeks. And another way to do that is also keeping some cardio in place. You don't want to have too much cardio that you're essentially not getting enough food in, but you want to still keep some cardio in place, some fasted cardio in place, that it keeps your insulin sensitivity up. So with the supplements, if you're doing this, you want to go ahead and have a good GDA in place, potentially think about metformin. And also the way I had my growth hormone laid out is it's not 6 IUs all at once, and it's not morning in bed. What I actually did is I split it up 3 times throughout the day. So I had 2 IUs right when I woke up, 2 IUs post-training, and then 2 IUs before bed. The reason I like to do post-training is you get done training, now your body's coming down into the state where you can relax and really set yourself up for growth. So I would go ahead and have my post-workout growth hormone, and then I'd zonk out on the couch, usually take a nap. And I do attribute this to, big reason why I was able to grow a lot. But like I said, this is the most growth hormone I've ever run. Usually, throughout the year, I'm running, 3 to 4 IUs when I'm running growth hormone. But the 6 IUs definitely made a very, very, very big difference. Now, as well, you also want to go ahead and have your health supplements in place. You are, post-contest. So with that, I run a lot of Revive MD products, like their kidney supplement, liver, lipid. I've got a slew of, vitamins and supplements that allow me to stay as healthy as possible. But with that being said, I've hit 243 this morning, and, I could potentially extend this out a little bit longer. Some people like doing a 6 to 8 week post-show rebound if they're very aggressive. But I've decided to go ahead and cut it where we're at right now. I'm going to go ahead and get blood work in the next week or 2, so that's where we're at there. But right now I'm going to take a pretty decently long health phase. It's been a minute now since I've had a really, really good time off, and frankly, I'm looking forward to it. So right now I'm on TRT now, completely down to my baseline, and I'm going to be here for a minute. And just see if we can kind of clean up around this range. What I would like to do is stay in the kind of 230 to 240 range for the next few months before we really hit off season, really hit that rolling. But I'm looking at doing another 212 show probably next early summerish. I haven't decided what show yet, but that's what we're looking at there. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm back here on YouTube. I'm going to start really pumping out content for you guys. Like I said, I am now taking on more one-on-one clients. So if you are interested in that, definitely check that down in the description box down below. But if you guys could please hit that like button, leave any comments or questions. Be happy, be positive, be powerful. Have a great rest of your day.